This is Mac at JLPTbootcamp.com, here with another N5 grammar lesson. And if you remember from last time, you just arrived in Japan, and now you are riding on the train into Osaka with your Japanese friend that you went to school with in the States. And on the train, your friend is asking you some questions. First question is, Kinai shoku wa oishikatta? You answer, mama. Now, real quick here, kinai shoku is actually airplane food. Kinai is airplane, and shoku is food. And he's asking, was the food on the plane delicious? And you think about it, that's the and answer mama, so. And he was asking this question using the past tense e adjective. And for example, Kinowa samukatta. And this is really easy to make. Basically, you take a e adjective, you cut off the e, the last e kana, and you replace it with kata. And you get the past tense, simple past tense of e adjective. This is casual, used in conversation. You would use this with your friends and possibly some close coworkers after hours, or maybe even at work, not with your boss or not with clients or whatnot. So continuing with the conversation, your friend says Honto, which means really. Are you serious? It was so. And you answer, mazuku nakata. It wasn't too bad. It wasn't mazui means unappetizing, not good tasting, basically, is a rough translation. So mazuku nakata is it wasn't bad, but it wasn't good. And you use the negative past tense e adjective there. This is a little bit different, a little bit more complicated. What you do here, well, first the example here, sono kare wa karaku nakata. The curry wasn't spicy. And if you remember from the previous lesson, you cut off, to make negative form of e adjective, you cut off the e and you add ku and add nai to it. So the regular present tense negative form of karai, spicy, would be karaku nai. So it's not spicy. This curry is not spicy. But if you want to talk about the past, you would change that last nai actually to past tense. And it's the exact same method that you would use for the regular past tense. You cut off the nai, acts as basically an e adjective. So you cut off that last e and you add kata. So you get all together, sono kare wa karaku nakata. The curry wasn't spicy. And that's the negative past tense of the e adjective. And continuing on with the conversation, your Japanese friend asks you, Narita wa nigiyaka datta no? Narita is the big airport in Tokyo, of course. Nigiyaka is lively or a busy kind of place. And the no ending particle is kind of to use as a question, and usually used in a negative kind of sense to ask questions. Sometimes you can just leave this off, the no particle, to ask a regular question, casual question. You don't need to use ka, which is the question particle. And you respond, you answer, nigiyaka datta. It was very lively, it was very busy. And you're using the past tense of the na adjective. This is different than the e adjective. If you remember, Na adjectives are actually borrowed from Chinese. These special adjectives that act kind of like nouns in the Japanese language, and they're used differently to modify adjectives, modify nouns, and they kind of behave very differently than e-adjectives in different structures. And of course, for past tense, it's the same thing. They act a little bit differently than the e-adjective. For example, sono restaurant wa ripa datta. The restaurant was splendid. It was a great restaurant, and this is very easy to form. Basically, just take a na adjective and add datta to the end of it. So you can think of it as na adjectives like to hang out with their dattas and daughters in the past. So they were good friends, the na adjectives and their daughters in the past. Now, not so much. Just a little small mnemonic that helps me. And to finish off the conversation, your friend asks, "Taihen datta no?" And you respond, "Iie, taihen janakatta." So, was it very rough? Was it difficult? No, not so bad. Is your response there? Taihen is a serious or tough situation. There's a couple different ways to translate that word, but basically just you're expressing the difficulty of that situation. And you responded with the negative past tense of the na adjective. For example, here's another example. Narita wa shizuka janakatta. And you'll notice here that this is very much actually like the e adjective. You have that nakata at the end. The only difference is you add janakatta. Instead of changing the last, with e adjectives, you change the e to a ku and add nakata, basically, to form the negative past. Here, you just add janakatta as just one phrase. You don't have to actually change the na adjective to talk about negative past with na adjectives. So do you think you have all that? Let's take a little short pop quiz here. Can you translate this sentence? It was hot. And I'll give you a hint. Hot is atsui in Japanese. Right, time's up. You would say atsukata. So again, atsui is the regular present tense of the e adjective. You cut off the e, you add kata, and you have atsukata for the regular past, casual past tense of the verb. How about he was skilled? And again, short hint, skilled is jozu in Japanese. This would be actually jozu datta. Jozu is a na adjective, so you have to add the datta to the end to make the past tense. Two more. This sentence, it wasn't boring. Quick hint, boring is tsumaranai in Japanese. Thumbs up, you would say tsumaranaku nakatta, which is a mouthful. But basically, you're cutting off the e adjective from tsumaranai. You have tsumarana, and you add ku, so tsumaranaku, and add nai for negative, so tsumaranaku nai. Then cutting off the e of that and adding kata. Altogether, you have tsumaranaku nakata. It wasn't boring. Last one, it wasn't splendid. Can you translate that? In Japanese, that would be ripa janakatta. It's not splendid. So again, with splendid, in Japanese it's ripa. It's a na adjective. You just have to add janakatta to talk about the negative past tense with na adjectives. And that's it for talking about using the past tense of adjectives in Japanese. So where do we go from here? What's the next stop? Stay tuned for the next lesson in N5 Grammar. And for more tips on the JLPT, stop by the website at jlptbootcamp.com. This has been a grammar explanation video from the JLPT Bootcamp Premium site. Inside the site, you will find some extra goodies, for example, some cheat sheets for all of the videos. And those cheat sheets include a few things. For example, some common mistakes that people make, as well as some example test questions for the JLPT. If you're interested in taking the JLPT and you want that extra edge, something to kind of push you above and get the points that you need to pass, I encourage you to stop by the website at jlptbootcamp.com/premium. There you can find the cheat sheets as well as some extra practice with the grammar points that I've been talking about today. Hope to see you in the premium site very soon. This has been Mac from jlptbootcamp.com.